Many of you may have already heard of the Men in Black through movies or shows, but in this video I will be counting down 5 real-life creepy encounters with the Men in Black. Number 5. A man known only as Larry claims that one night he was drifting off to sleep when he was contacted by a strange presence who communicated with him telepathically. The presence explained that he was not from Earth, but he also didn't give a reason for contacting Larry. Somewhat skeptical, Larry asked the presence to provide some proof of its existence beyond simply sending thoughts into his head. He wanted a face-to-face meeting. The presence agreed to provide him with further proof. He would show up during the day when Larry was with his best friend. Larry wasn't sure what to make of the entire thing the next day. He obsessed about the dream for months. Eventually, he caught up with his friend at an Independence Day celebration at a nearby park. As Larry was talking with his friend, a black van pulled up nearby and 2 men dressed in black suits got out. 2 more similarly dressed men exited the van after them, but they did not appear to be humanly shaped. The strange men sat down at a nearby picnic table, looked over at Larry, and then re-entered their van and left just as mysteriously as they arrived. Larry never found out why they had contacted him. Maybe the Men in Black were just testing their skills. Number 4. Albert Bender was the director of an amateur organization called the International Flying Saucer Bureau, and he believed that he had finally found crucial information on the whole flying saucer idea. He had his own publication called Space Review, in which he planned to spread his discovery. After compiling all of his collected wisdom on the matter, he mailed it to a friend to look it over before he unveiled it to the world. Unfortunately, this attracted the attention of the Men in Black, who decided that it was time to pay him a visit and prevent him from leaking all their secrets. A couple days later, Bender was on his bed and suddenly felt dizzy. He noticed several dark shapes in the room with him that slowly materialized into men in black suits with black hats, obscuring their eyes and faces. He noticed in particular that the men's eyes lit up with an incredible glow that seemed capable of reading his thoughts. They made him promise to destroy his findings and seize all of his research into the subject. Bender was too scared to deny and handed over all his research. Number 3. An anonymous man related a tale of a strange experience he had while sightseeing in Washington, D.C. He wandered into the State Department building and meandered through the lobby for a while until security became suspicious of him and headed over to escort him out of the building. However, before they could do so, he saw something that he would never forget. The elevator opened and 5 men got out. 2 of them wore gray suits that were formal, but hardly remarkable beyond that. What drew his attention were the other 3 men in their escort. These men wore black hats pulled low over their eyes and long black trench coats, even though it was in the middle of summer. The appearance seemed so strange that the observer could only describe it as cartoonish. As they were walking by, one of the strange men lost his footing on the marble floor and fell to the ground, dropping his portfolio in the process. Upon helping him up, he noticed that the man's legs seemed extraordinarily weak, and it felt like there was a thick layer of wool underneath his suit. Even stranger, the man's expression never appeared to change at all, despite falling onto the hard marble floor. Near the dropped portfolio, he found a small coin with words written in no language he could identify. One side depicted a man with features like a wolf, and the other had navigational lines and 2 crescent moons. Number 2. A professor of folklore named Peter Rojkowicz told of an experience that occurred one night in the college library while he was reading a book on UFOs that had been recommended to him by a colleague. He was just relaxing in a chair and reading his book when he noticed what appeared to be a leg and a shoe out of the corner of his eye. Before he knew it, there was a man sitting in the chair in front of him. The man immediately asked Peter about the book he was reading and questioned him on whether he had seen UFOs or was at all interested in the phenomenon. When the professor stated that he wasn't really that interested in the subject to begin with and was only reading the book to satisfy the suggestion of a colleague, the man became enraged and angrily asked him how he could not be interested in the most important facts of the century. Seemingly satisfied that the professor was not going to dig into the world of UFOs, the man left, but not before telling the professor to go well on his purpose. However, while it seemed like this would be the end of it, it's here that the story takes a turn for the extra creepy. After the encounter, Peter got up to walk around the library. However, none of the librarians were anywhere to be seen. The same went for the guards and all the patrons. In fact, as far as he could tell, the library was completely deserted except for him. The professor returned to his chair in an attempt to gather his wits. In about an hour, according to the professor, he decided to get up and look around again, and this time he found that everything was as it should be. Number 1. A video was captured of two men in black who allegedly entered a hotel in Niagara Falls, Canada, and started asking questions about one of the hotel employees. The story says that the employee in question had recently seen a UFO and had told others about his experience. Not long after, these two men showed up at his place of employment, but he was not working during their visit. According to witness accounts, the men were asking people not only about the employee in question, but also about conspiracies in general. They had no eyebrows or eyelashes, strange hypnotic eyes, bald heads possibly disguised by wigs, and wore loose black suits. These two men were definitely caught on camera. The question is whether they were clandestine government agents, beings from another world in disguise, or simply the product of a clever hoax. Regardless of the answer, there is something hair-raising about two men in suits walking into a hotel in the middle of the day and asking strange questions about one of the employees, then leaving as mysteriously as they came. Do you think the men in black are real? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you later.